Hi, I'm Scott Evans with Scheck Snyder Racing, and today I'm going to show you how to do lifter preload on an LS motor using the rocker bolt turns method. Okay, so first thing you want to do is make sure that your cam is on the base circle. In my case, I'm using top dead center on the combustion stroke because that guarantees that my number one cylinder is on the base circle of the cam. Then what you're going to do is you're going to loosen up the rocker arm so that it has some free play. You're going to make sure that it can move around, but it's got a little bit of space to it. After that, you're going to take and you're going to tighten up the rocker arm until it no longer has any play in it. Do it real slow so that you don't overdo, because you can start to compress the lifters if they're not primed up. You're just going to go until you can't feel it anymore. I usually start by lifting on the tip of the rocker until I feel it just get stiff, and then I double check and make sure on the back. If I can spin the push rod really easy, it's probably not there, and I just keep going just a hair at a time until it gets stiff to spin. Once you start to feel drag on it, then you know you're at zero lash. From that point, what you need to do is go to your torque wrench. I'm using a pretty generic torque wrench, just a clicker style. You can buy it at any auto parts store. Rent one if you don't have one. On the GM factory rockers, we're looking for 22 foot-pounds of torque. And we're going to take this and we're going to measure how far it takes us to turn to get there. In my case, I like to start with the torque wrench up in the upright position because it makes it easier to count the turns, giving a straight reference line. At this point, I'm just going to start turning the torque wrench and continue until I reach 22 foot-pounds of torque. And I'm just going to count the turns as I go. So in this case, I've ended up at just a little over one turn. I'm going to call it 1 1/8 turns. To figure out our preload, we now know that this bolt that we used was an 8mm by 1.25 pitch. The pitch of the bolt tells us exactly how far we've moved, and we know that the rocker itself, the tip hasn't moved, but the rear of it has. And so that means we have to account for that rocker ratio, because now this has moved more on this side than it has here at the center point. With this bolt, the bolt threads themselves come out to be 0.0492, and with a 1.7 rocker, the extra difference that's here actually makes it 0.078 per turn of the bolt. If you had a 1.8 rocker arm, you'd do some math and come up with a different number. You'd end up with 0.765 on a 1.8 rocker arm. So now if I just do a little bit of math, I can come up with the number 0.0877, which tells me how much preload I have. So I have 87, almost 88 thousandths preload. I'm probably fine in most situations with this. If I want a little more preload, I'm going to lengthen the push rod. If I want a little less preload, I'm going to shorten the push rod by the amount I want.